Alright, Jim Davis here. We're back for one more match of Standard with our Blue Eye Control deck, testing for the Invitational in Las Vegas coming up next week. Last match was a little bit of a dud. Our opponent mulliganed to 4 in the second game, so we're doing one more before the night is over. And now it's our turn to mulligan. Look at the nice pattern we have here. Dissolve, Divination, Plains, Divination, Dissolve. It's nice. But yeah, so our opponent mulliganed to 6. And we're also going to mulligan to 6 because this hand's not keepable. Alright, much better. Divination, Azorius Charm, not a problem. Our opponent keeps 6, as do we, and we're off. Temple of Triumph is going to be scrying that card to the bottom. Okay. And we're going to play our Guildgate. That was a very good draw for us. Now we can cast Dissolve. And let's see what he has. Okay, we're looking probably at the Devotion deck. Okay. Nope, we are looking at the Aggressive Red deck, which our hand matches up very poorly against. Alright, so we're just gonna have to run the gauntlet here. This is a pretty good hand for him on the play. Oof, boy, Mutavault too. So those, what are they called? Fiendslayer Paladins? Yeah, those Fiendslayer Paladins are going to come in handy this match, whereas they did not in our last mono red Devotion matchup. So we are going to be Azorius Charming here with Extreme Prejudice on the Fire Fist Striker. And really hope he doesn't have another follow-up to this, because this is a pretty good draw. Alright, good. Alright, so now, oh boy. One of the things that I'm noticing with this deck is that we're having a lot of tension in the early turns with these dissolves, where if we get into a situation where we're a little bit behind and we draw a dissolve or 2 in a row, things go from bad to really, really bad. And it has me questioning the validity of a deck a little bit as far as dealing with our early turns. So where they are very good a lot of the time. Clearly counterspells aren't good answers to things already in play, obviously. So that's an issue. Here, we're just going to have to ship the turn. And if we can dissolve something, cool. If we can Azorius Charm, cool. But we are in 100% survival mode here. Having 2 dissolves against a triple turn 2 creature draw is a difficult place to be. Yeah, now he has the Mutavault going to... maybe I should have countered that. I hit yes pretty quickly. Yeah, I almost definitely should have countered that. Alright. Let's... Alright, well, I mean, here we're going to be Azorius Charming the Mutavault, which is pretty good. It buys us a few turns on that. As far as countering this, I'm kind of in play fast mode, I apologize. My last few matches have almost gone to time, and that kind of stinks. I actually lost the match that I recorded, decided not to put on because of time. Playing an Esper Mirror, which is, again, aside from being just a difficult match in general, to play quickly, dictate the match, and just win with a deck with almost no win conditions in it at all can be difficult. So I'm kind of in playing fast mode, so we're going to slow down a little bit. This is obviously not a matchup it's going to take very long. As far as dissolving last turn, I probably should have cast Dissolve last turn. Now we're kind of in a stinky spot. We have 2 dissolves and a Divination. We're taking 6 next turn. We're probably just going to cast Divination here and hope to draw a Wrath, because we really don't have any other options. We're not dissolving anything. He's playing Mutavault next turn. So we're kind of on the Hail Mary a little bit. Unfortunately, that Revelation is probably not going to help us. So we'll see what our next draw step yields us. But for now, it looks like we're going to be jumping to the sideboard pretty quick to get these Fiendslayer Paladins online. Yes, we're dead. I guess we can give him the opportunity to not attack with his Mutavault. This would definitely be a fantastic spot to have Quicken into a Supreme Verdict. That would be incredible. But would have been more fun actually if we drew a Quicken there and had the Sweat for the Supreme Verdict. Alright, so we somehow fooled him into not attacking Mutavault. That's a somewhat suspect play. He probably has a Searing Spear, or whatever it's called these days. Add some blue mana there. Alright, so we're having for 2, staying alive. And if he has a Lightning Strike, yes he does, so we're dead. Okay. So that game didn't go very well. Our hand, Double Dissolve is not panning out very well versus the mono red deck. But we've got things to bring in. We've got a whole party actually. So we have three Fiend Slayer Paladins. We have Blind Obedience. Which we're going to talk about. Ratchet Bomb, he has a bunch of 2-drops. Last Breath, very, very good. Blind Obedience, now, he's playing the lower curve version. He's probably not going to have Storm by the Dragon. Ashley Watts, probably in his deck. Chandra's Phoenix, probable. Blind Obedience actually doesn't seem that great, to be perfectly honest. He might have a Hammer-proof Roaster too, but it's not nearly as good in the more aggressive versions of the red deck than it is in the Devotion deck. So we're going to leave this here. Let's look at the cards we're boarding out. So, very easy one. Elixir's coming out. The 5-life is not relevant. Oh man, but we have no win conditions. So one of the things we're really discovering is that I am just not a fan of this Elixir Immortality plan. William Jensen played it, as we said earlier in the earlier videos. This is William Jensen's list from the Grand Prix in Dallas last weekend. He lost in the finals. The deck is clearly good, but I mean, I don't know if this is jiving with my personal play style, even as someone who really likes to play grindy, slow control decks. I mean, I'm just not happy going into battle against this mono red deck, and I have one win condition in my entire deck. I'm all about my win conditions being diverse. I think Elspeth is a fantastic win condition because it's not only a win condition, it's also a Wrath effect. It's also makes a bunch of blockers. It's a very versatile card. I agree, but I don't love Aetherling because Aetherling is essentially only a win condition, and I enjoy the fact that we can play a deck with no win conditions, making the air quotations, win conditions per se, in a sense of a card that's only there to win the game. But we can have incidental win conditions like Elspeth, where it's usually control the board and then eventually win the game later. So, but this deck only has one of those. We're even further in the control-y Dirtle zone with the Elixir, and I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it. So we're going to cut these. Syncopate's not bad. I'm going to draw on the play, I mean, so that's good. We're going to cut a Divination, and we're not going to bring in Blind Obedience. And we need one more cut. I'm happy cutting a second Divination. Divination takes a long time to play, and we don't always have time to cast Divination on turn 3. So we're playing first. Quicken, Syncopate, Jace, Sphinx Trap. This is a very good hand. So we have turn 2 Syncopate, which can stop his Burning Tree draw, which is nice. We have a card draw with Quicken. We have our turn 4 Jace. Sphinx Trap for later. This is an almost ideal hand. Our opponent's mulligan to 6, and we are off. Okay. 1-drops, pretty big game. Is what it is. But a hand with a 1-drop against us versus a hand that does not have a 1-drop is a pretty big difference. Okay, so Jackal-Pup is getting in there. Okay, so this is cool. So we have a chance to stop his Burning Tree start this time, which is nice. So we can do that, and then we can work our way into our Jace here. Not Jace. Alright, we're going to play our Guildgate and Seiko, and we're very likely going to end step this Quicken. I don't see much reason to cast it main phase right now, because even if we did draw an Azorius Charm, or a Last Breath, I still want to play the Guildgate so I can cast the Jace on turn 4, which is much more important. So we're just going to play the Guildgate for now and say go. And there's no card we can draw main phase with Quicken that we want to cast. Okay. Actually, that's pretty good. And he's going to be coming in. Alright, so that's fine. Another Rev. So now we're really looking to buy as much time as possible. So we're going to Jace and we're going to plus it. And we're going to use the blue mana to cast Jace. And we're going to go from there. The plus to Jace sets up a nice little Cumberstone for our opponent. You can deal a few to Jace, but can't kill it without some more help. And that's good because we can, again, buy ourselves some more time. Alright, that kills Jace. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that, though. Because Jace just soaked up 6 damage. And we have another Jace. Not a problem at all. So Boros Charm is definitely a real card that we need to be watching out for. It kills our Planeswalkers and can counter our Supreme Verdicts. So not unhappy with that turn at all. So we're just going to do it again next turn. And again, these are, like I was saying in one of the earlier videos, these are definitely the kind of turns that we want to be having. Whereas, yes, he killed our Jace. That's fine. Our goal is to survive these crucial early turns and live to see another day. And we're doing that right now. He wasted his turn 3. He had to cast the Boros Charm and attack not us. And we're perfectly okay with that. Okay, same thing. He had to attack Jace, cast Lightning Strike. So now, 2 turns he has not developed his board at all. And spent 2 cards to deal with our 2 cards. That's cool. So now here, we're in pretty good shape. Revelation, Azorius Charm. We could main phase this Revelation to play around Skullcrack. Because if he Skullcracked us, that actually would be a pretty significant swing. That would bring us down to 6. We're going to cast Revelation anyway. We're probably not casting Azorius Charm. I'm just going to main phase Revelation to play it safe. Nothing. I'm not casting anything else this turn, so I'm cool with this. Skullcrack is not an extremely popular sideboard card, but it is within the realm of possibility. So we drew a Verdict and a Charm. Cool. Verdict is going to be excellent next turn. We'll see if he plays anything. It's definitely possible he could have a Boros Charm. Never mind. So this is very good for us. So now we're going to Lair Land, Verdict. We have Azorius Charm for any possible haste creatures. And then next turn, the big rev to probably put the game away. Alright, so, as I was saying, those 2 turns where I played the Jace, and he had to do a whole bunch of stuff to deal with it, put us in this position. Because now instead of having 4 lands being in the sort of mid-game, we're approaching the later part of the mid-game with 7 lands in play, and plenty of stuff to do. Azorius Charm just furthers that. We time walked him, and now next turn we'll be casting Ash Zealot again, and now we have 8 lands in play. And a Rev, and we're in very good shape. There's no point in playing around Skullcrack this time, because he obviously doesn't have a land. He's obviously casting Ash Zealot this turn. So we're more than happy to take the 2 and draw 5 cards. You gain 5 life. So we're just going to do that right now. Wonderful. So we have all 4 of our revs. We have our Elspeth. This game is looking fantastic. Elspeth. Gate. Go with Last Breath and Azorius. Oh my god, I didn't pass the Elspeth. Alright, playing a little too fast. I apologize. So, we're just making the game a little more challenging for us because, you know, we're in pretty good shape. Alright, so we're going to Azorius Charm this. This is a card we want him drawing next turn. Sure. Alright. Now I think we're going to plus the Elspeth. And we're going to Divination and draw some cards. And we're not going to be casting a red this turn for a small rev, so we're just going to play a land tapped. And pass the turn with our Last Breath open. At this point, it's almost elementary. There really isn't much you could conceivably do to win this game. We have 2 revs in our hand and a bunch of lands. I mean, it would be difficult to fathom a sequence of cards you could have to win this game. Despite the fact that we played an Elspeth and didn't use it on the first turn. So feel free to make fun of me for the in the comments section for that. I can take it. And then I will happily reply, scoreboard. Alright, so he's attacking us. I'm just going to cast my Last Breath here. To be honest, we're casting a huge rev next turn. You just want to dump your cards, exactly. The game's over. So, cool. Alright, so we're going to a game 3. Now, sideboarding is definitely different on the player draw versus a deck like this. Our Syncopates definitely become much worse, as they can no longer answer a Burning Tree Emissary's start. I still don't think I want Blind Obedience. And I still don't think I want the extra Divination. So actually, we're going to be sticking with the Syncopates. They're not ideal, but they're still a 2-mana answer. I guess Blind Obedience does answer the Hammer, which he's shown us. Alright, we're going to do that. We're going to put in the 1 Blind Obedience and take out 1 Syncopate. Leave us with 1. And deal with it like this. I think 1 is fine. You don't really want to draw more than 1 anyway. We already have a number of turn 2 plays. It's possible this could even just be a 3rd Divination. Looking at this, we have 7 2-mana removal spells, 2 Ratchet Bombs, which are also good, and the Blind Obedience. I'm definitely not feeling the Ratchet Bombs either. I don't like the Disynergy with the Detention Sphere. I've never liked the card anyway, but it is what it is for now. So we're just going to leave this as it. I think two Divinations is fine. So we're good. Alright, so good hand. Not fantastic, but definitely good. Removal spell, Chase, Wrath. I guess you can't ask for much more. We're on the draw, so this hand is a little susceptible to a 1-drop into Burning Tree Emissary hand, but that's life, you know? So, let's see what happens. Alright, let's see how many he has. None. Okay. Pretty good for us. We drew another Wrath. The danger here is that he has a somewhat non-creature hand with like Hammer Purphoros or other dangerous non-creature permanents. We are casting Last Breath here. We're going to cast it on Burning Tree Emissary. Again, what's our goal? Survive to the mid-game. That's our goal. Not the most threatening creature, but we just want to stay alive. So I guess I could have done that before he attacked in case he has the Blood Rush guy, but that's fine. Sure. Okay, so that was a mistake. There, I 100% should have played the Plains, because if now we're saying go, he's going to play around Dissolve. We actually want him to cast his creatures, at least, into our Supreme Verdict. I guess if it stops him from playing a Hammer Purphoros or other non-creature permanents, he's afraid of it being countered, I guess that's a good thing. So, it's hard to say. Obviously, this is the Chandra turn, if he has Chandra, or the Hammer turn. So, it's a minuscule thing, but it's one thing to be important. It's important to be aware of that. Which land you're playing can signify things. One of my favorite things to do in Time Spiral Block Constructed when I was playing the Mystical Teachings control deck was a format with Damnation, which is the Black Wrath of God, and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, which is a land that makes all your lands swamps. So very often I would play island, island, island. So my opponent would think that it would not be possible for me to cast the Damnation, the Black Wrath I got him on the next turn. They would permit more creatures to the board, and then I would play Urborg and just Damnation them anyway. So it's important to realize you can be deceptive with your lands, and there's a power in that. So now, what do? He has all of his mana open. We have a Jace. We have 2 Wraths. He could very, very easily have Boros Charm here, which would not be very good for us. I think we're going to play a Jace and plus it. This is going to elicit him to try and kill the Jace. Maybe he'll Boros Charm it. Again, it's going to make him answer this so he can try and Wrath him successfully. Because if we Wrath here and he has Boros Charm, we are probably going to lose. So I'm going to Jace and plus. This is something we got to be aware of, the cards that your opponent is bringing in against you. Yes, this looks like a great spot to Wrath, but Boros Charm is a card. Our opponent didn't play another creature. Our opponent left open his Boros Charm mana, and our opponent has a Mutavault. And I think trying to go for the Wrath here is just far too dangerous. So, again, let him fight through this. Again, our goal, survive the mid game. Our goal, or survive the early game to get to the mid game / mid-late game. These turns, all we're doing is trying to throw stuff in the way. Here's a Jace, deal with it. Maybe you'll Searing Spirit, maybe you'll attack it for 2, sure. But whatever you're doing is another turn for me to play more lands, and then to play my Revelation for as much as I possibly can. Alright, we are in the tank. So now he's deciding if he wants to try and kill me or actually deal with this Jace. Survey says he's going for me. Alright. So now he 100% has Boros Charm at this point. I don't think he ever makes that play. Attacking me and leaving these 2 mana up. It's a very, very, very obvious Boros Charm. Unless he is the best bluffer in the history of Magic, which I can guarantee you he's not. So, his hand's face up. He has Boros Charm. What are we going to do here? Now, we're going to plus our Jace. Theoretically, it's Boros Charm. We could Wrath and just draw the Boros Charm out if we want to. We probably need to do that, to be perfectly honest, because we're not going to win if we just sit here and do nothing. We have to plus our Jace to survive this attack. And if we don't Wrath, he can just nug us for 4, which is also bad. So we have to Wrath here. It's not ideal to Wrath into his Boros Charm, but we have Jace protecting us from a swing back, and we can't just get burned out and die. We need to stall until we can Revelate. So we're going to Verdict into his Boros Charm, even though he just said that we're 100% sure he has Boros Charm. It is still the correct play. And in the 10% chance he doesn't have it, which is within the non-zero possibility, cool. Then we cast a Wrath. But I would bet the farm that he has Boros Charm here. Although it's actually an interesting conundrum if he has the Boros Charm to not save his guys and just nug us for 4, and then maybe try and kill us with Mutavault or whatever, because these guys aren't dealing much damage anyway because of the Jace. Alright, so indestructible, as we said he would. Plus the Jace, and just keep on trucking. So next turn we can take 3 off his creatures, and we can try and Wrath again, or we can just cast Sphinx's Revelation, or we can do a few things. And also, one of the things we can do is we can cast Supreme Verdict if he has another Boros Charm, have Mutavault back to block. Because Mutavault is actually a fairly effective blocker when Jace is shrinking power. Because it can trade with, or they can block anything and still live. Because everything will have 1 power. So, let's see what happens here. Okay, our opponent is off the Boros Charm plan. And he's going in deep. So now the problem here is that he has 2 Mutavaults, which is somewhat difficult for us. So we got a 5. We untap. Now we can plus and Wrath, and we'll go to 3 on his Mutavault swing. If he has a Searing Spear or Lightning Strike, we're dead. Actually, I'm sorry, we can block a Mutavault. So okay, we're in pretty good shape here. So we're going to cast our Supreme Verdict. We are going to plus our Jace, and we're going to say go. And now we have a defensive Mutavault to block his Mutavault if necessary. And we have a Revelation for the following turn. Or even taking our Jace up too, which is kind of cool because we've been playing defensive with our Jace this whole time, just to stay alive. But that also has a side benefit of, in 2 turns we can ultimate Jace and pull out whatever he's got in our Elspeth. So Jace is pretty good. Good guy. Okay. Ash Zealot. Mutavault. So this is not a bad turn for us. If he has a shock here, which is somewhat unlikely, that stinks a little bit. But, I mean, I'm not unhappy with this. Now the question is, which do we block? Whereas we can kill the Ash Zealot, which is, I'm sorry, we can kill the Ash Zealot, which is a better creature. We can also sphere this potentially, but this costs a mana. I think you're pretty clearly going to kill the Ash Zealot here, because A, it's a better creature, and B, he has to pay mana to activate these. So he cannot play Chandra's Phoenix and activate. So this is definitely a safer one. Now the scary thing is if he has Borostrom here, to just kill us. So hopefully he does not have land Borostrom. He's a Cackler. Okay. So now we have a Revelation, have an Azorius Charm too. So we play our land. We can rev for 4, bringing us to 8, plus Jace again, which will put 3 damage on the board, which would put us theoretically to 5 from a maximum attack, which is a very safe place to be. I'm very happy with 5, not 4, but 5. We can Azorius Charm and Mutavault, but then we die to Borostrom. Yeah, we're just going to cast this Rev. We're just going to do it. And then plus Jace, and then let bygones be bygones. If he has some way to kill us through this sequence, I would be impressed. Next turn we have a Jace Ultimate, which might not even use, to be honest. Yeah, so we're basically just saying, try and kill us. He had 1 card in his hand that he knew, and he's drawn 1 random card. And he has a lot of work to do to try and kill us. Now, next turn, assuming we survive, which I'm pretty sure we will, we have a lot of options. We can keep our Jace and just pump it up again. We can ultimate our Jace and get our Elspeth and get one of his things. We can leave open Azorius Charm. We can do a lot of stuff. Alright, so here comes this attack, bringing us to 5, as we said we would be going to. Oof, boy. Another Revelation. That's a pretty good one. Alright. Okay. Definitely in an interesting spot here. Ultimating Jace and leaving open Azorius Charm and Mutavault would get us a card from his deck, our Elspeth, 3 blockers, Azorius Charm for Chandra's Phoenix, Mutavault as another blocker just in case, and then a huge rev next turn. We can also Sphere the Phoenix, Azorius Charm this, Mutavault to block something else if necessary, Quicken if necessary, and rev next turn. So we need to make the play that keeps us the most alive. However silly that sounds. So, one Zori's Charm, Sphere. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a card with Quicken first. I think. The only risk there is if we actually draw the Elspeth, we can't take it out of our deck anymore, which is kind of a problem. It's an interesting problem to have. But the problem is that we're also losing our Jace. But once we rev, it probably won't matter anyway. So we're gonna ultimate our Jace. Again, we're probably gonna get Elspeth from us. From him, I'm not exactly sure. We don't want Chandra's Phoenix, because if we get Chandra's Phoenix and it dies, he can get it back eventually. But yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna cash in our Jace here for an Elspeth. Ooh, Fiendslayer Paladin's a card too. But yeah, it's Elspeth. Now, what does he have? Assembled Legion, Ash Zealot, Boros Charm, Fanatic Mogi. Okay, so Fire Drinker Satyr, Chandra's Phoenix, Burning Tree Emissary, Striker Satyr, 2 hammers, 2. That's good. Just so we know, the last 2 8-mans I played, the person I lost to won both of them. Just heads up. So he has 2 lightning strikes. He only has 1 card in his hand. We're trying to figure out what card's in his hand. The card in his hand can be a lightning strike, perhaps, maybe a fanatic. It's probably a Boros Charm, to be perfectly honest. I think 4 charms is reasonable. So let's make sure we don't die to that. So Elspeth, tokens, Detention Sphere, go. We can get Assembled Legion. We could actually get Burning Tree Emissary, which is very, very humorous, and use the extra 2 mana to cast a huge Sphinx's Revelation. And that sounds really silly, but that might actually be the play. It gives us a blocker and more life. That would give us in play Landia at 5, 7 life, puts us at 12. That's really funny. I think that actually might be the play. I think going to 12 against a Chandra's Phoenix and not enough attackers is a very safe place to be. So I think we're actually going to do that. Aside from being probably the right play, it's also really fun. Just gaining 5 is not really safe enough. But this is, I like it. We're going to do this. It's just too much fun not to do. Alright, so we got that. We got that. We're done. So we just used our Jace ultimate as a dark ritual, essentially, which is pretty cool. We're going to use our Elspeth this time. We drew some gas, and we're going to discard. And we don't really care about discarding because we have all the cards we could ever need. Okay. So assuming he doesn't kill us this turn, which would be very, very difficult, I think we've got this one pretty much wrapped up. Okay. Not a problem. There's some nice splash damage here too from Last Breath to Chandra's Phoenix. Whereas Last Breath is very good against a lot of cards in the format. The remove clause is actually very effective against Chandra's Phoenix as well. Okay, so right now we have the combo of Quicken and Supreme Verdict, which can answer almost any possible Fanatic Emoji or attack or anything next turn, which is sweet. So we're happy with that. We're just gonna attack for 2 and make some guys. We also have Last Breath, which can kill one of our own guys to gain life if necessary. We're in pretty good shape. We also have Zori's Charm to lifelink, so we're feeling pretty good about where we're at right now. Okay, so on this attack, we could Last Breath, which is good. Obviously, removing it, but I'm just going to Azorius Charm because I would like him to draw this card next turn. Because this card won't kill me next turn, and it saves the Last Breath in case I need to use it on my own creature. Alright, so we were in the tank. Again, it's 6 life. I'm feeling pretty good. I might actually just cast Azorius Charm next turn for lifelink. Just gain some life. And again, the goal at this point in the game is basically to make sure you don't die to anything stupid. Just live. You have every card you could possibly need to win. Don't let yourself fall prey to some stupid card that you haven't considered or whatever. Like, just gain life. That's fine. So, we're gonna lifelink our Azorius Charm. Gain a whole bunch of life. And we're going to make some guys. He's going to concede. Okay, so once we're at, once we've gained that life, it's pretty far out of the way. Alright, so, sweet. That's another match against Mono Red, and thanks for watching.